Sage Service Operations is a browser-based solution that interfaces directly with your Sage 300 CRE. In the bottom left, you have your Sage 300 CRE server that is installed in your back office. This is still going to be used to process all your billings, payroll, and accounting functions. But by harnessing the power of the cloud or the internet, Sage Service Operations is able to read and write work order-related information directly back from the field via mobile device, right back into your Sage 300 CRE. Your users simply need to log into the website via browser by phone, tablet, or laptop, and then access the website with the provided access to work order-related information in real time. So there are three main functional roles in which Sage Service Operation is used. The field employee is really going to be empowered to create work orders. We even have the ability to write daily field reports, submit time entries, and quote directly from the field. Again, all this writing directly back into Sage 300 CRE. With that, the office staff now has the ability to dispatch the employees to the appropriate work, as well as review time and quotes. Sage Service Operations also has a client portal where the client, such as like a McDonald's, is able to log into the portal and submit service tickets for their company, and then you issue the work order assignments to the specific technicians out in the field. Sage Service Operations is an app that's compatible with, does have an app that's compatible with Android or iOS devices. This is similar to the browser solution, however, allows access in spotty network areas, such as like basements or hard to reach areas for a network. And this allows a store and send function, which means once you get back into network range, it'll then update the home office. Throughout today's presentation, we'll primarily be working in the browser solution. However, want you to be aware that there is an app available if necessary. As we take a look at Sage Service Operations, we want to address how it differentiates itself from some of the other solutions or competitors that are out there. Most competitors are essentially a bolt-on solution. They have a dual system of reporting and data, and this means that you're transferring data between two databases, one being the mobile side, the other being the Sage 300 CRE. The information is getting transferred at certain times during the day. This can cause latency between the two systems as you're not getting the data in real time, as well as create some data integrity issues. Sage Service Operations, on the other hand, is a true extension of your accounting system out in the field. This means that all your data is pushing and pulling from the one service management database that filters everything to your accounting module. That way you have a single database of information that transfers in real time. Now when you work, orders are updated in the field, all the notes, time, parts, and inventory are being updated in your Sage 300 CRE database. As we mentioned today, Sage Service Operations is a browser-based solution with a responsive design. Today we'll be operating from my laptop. We'll be accessing the solution, but we'll be taking a few minutes to emulate what it looked like for your users out in the field to be using a tablet or phone. Now, depending how you access the site, the solution is smart enough to contour to the screen real estate available. You can see here that when accessing from a tablet or iPad, the site looks similar to a laptop or computer. When accessing from a phone, the responsive design changes the site to effectively be navigated using scrolling and touch-enabled interface, much like the buttons you see here. Sage Service Operations also can track time based on your permissions granted by the admin. So Sage Service Operations will authenticate your permissions based on the initial setup, and then the time entry can be entered in for jobs, work orders, miscellaneous time, shop time, vacation, and all this is seen by the office staff so they can dispatch as needed or schedule the employee. The technician will have the visibility to their own time, or the office staff can access their time review. With the time entry, we'll be taking a look at two different types of time entries. There's the punch action, which allows employees to start and stop whenever they're either on the job, traveling, or on a break. And then there's the standard entry on the right-hand side here, which is essentially entering in X hours for a specific work order, getting that information back to 300 CRE. And even though this example is showing being able to enter in time for multiple people, we do have that capability if you were working with crews. It will actually automatically set up if it's just a single technician to only be able to enter their information. When looking at some of the productivity benefits in terms of the process, for those out in the field, we're talking about work order management, customer site history, which is really useful, getting some context before actually going to the site, submitting purchase orders from the field, even attaching receipts within the attachments section, which we'll be showing later on, photos and sketches, so taking a picture of the service work and then sketching it up on what work was actually done, and then time entry, entering and approving your time for the employee's time. With the field employees, you're really eliminating that latency between the field and office, so all that is now instantly available on both sides of your business. Now looking at the office staff, we're really looking to eliminate paperwork. A lot of our customers are still using the carbonless copies and still having to track multiple copies of paperwork. This really reduces that and allows you to have one single storage and entry of information. Instead of manually entering into the information now, you're then taking it from the actual field and then just verifying it within your Sage 300 CRE software. And additionally, the scheduling and dispatching, the additional tools and views for the dispatcher, and we'll be showing some of those tools today. So all this information is being recorded, stored, and updated directly from your Sage to your Sage 300 CRE and back from your Sage 300 CRE to the field. They write both ways. And this is really going to get your billings out quicker. It's in collecting payments, generating your payroll and verifying payroll information more efficiently, and then overall dispatching the work and having technicians that must be in multiple locations during the day have that information at their fingertips. So now let's jump over into my Sage service operations to take a look. So when I'm in my Sage service operations, I'll be operating in a few different roles. That way, everybody on the webcast is able to see their specific role and how to operate within the system. One of those being the admin or dispatcher in the office, and the other would be the field employee on how they would utilize the tool for their workflow. Throughout today's presentation, I'll be logged in as an administrator. So you'll be seeing a lot more options that the field employee maybe would not see. And what we're currently looking at is the dispatch scheduler. That way we can get a quick look of all the employees, all the work that's currently assigned out right now. Although most of what we're going to be focusing on today is the work orders and service receivables, keep in mind that Sage Service Operations can also accommodate scheduling and tracking job time for construction projects. Now, over here on the left-hand side, you'll see I have my list of open work orders. This is the same list over in my Sage Service Management. Once you enter the work order in Sage 300 CRE, it's immediately available for those out in the field to then start work on once it's been assigned to them. If your company's workflow is to process work orders on the fly, in the field, once your technicians can actually write those and create those and then write back to your Sage 300 CRE database so nothing is ever missed. As the admin or dispatcher, I actually have several ways to customize this view. And although we're looking at the employees right now, I can actually customize this list into certain certain groups and trades. So if I look here, I want to see just my electrical team. It'll filter that list down. And not only can I track my electrical team and my employees, but I can also track subcontractors. And also, if I look at my City North group, I can also track equipment as well. So going back into this view, you can notice that we have a couple of different ways to slice and dice this information. So I could look at it just as a day view, a full week view, 2 weeks out, a month out, and then even an alt day view. Alt day view is very similar to what it would look like within Outlook. And within this, you can feel free to drag and drop, and it automatically updates the dispatcher and that employee's assignments once they come into the office. So going back into the full week view, I have the ability to move any of these, as we mentioned before, and then it updates the scheduler within your dispatch board within Sage Service Management as well. I can look at my work orders here on the left-hand side. There's a number of filters that I can actually filter them by technician, site, location. We could show different columns if need be. So it's very customizable to how you want to view your work orders. And you'll also notice that we have color coding based on how your company wants to see this. So the boxes outside of the actual work orders are actually color coded based on your priority settings. And we have up to 6 priority settings that you can set those up to. We'll also look at how the colors change on the work stage. So that way you can see what's going on with your technicians without having to bother them, call on them. Once the work order has been completed, the color will change, and you'll see what it looks like when the technician punches in and out as well. Now, say a dispatcher, I want to look up a client site, and without having to go back into CRE, that may be hard to do, but straight from here, within this search utility, we have the ability to bring up a client site, and it is bringing up the client sites, within your Sage 300 CRE software. So if I just bring up Allstate University right there, and since this is integrated back to my Sage 300 CRE, and all the information can be searched through there. So not just job sites, but also client sites and work order numbers can be searched within that tool. Once I bring up Allstate University, the client site will show the customer's history. So you're seeing all the work orders on this customer site. It's a great way for me as an admin to take a look prior to any work that's being dispatched out. Now, depending on your security permissions, you can also give this access to your technicians. So they can not only view the work order, but any previous work that's been done, see what equipment has been installed on the actual job site, and then actually drill down into that equipment to see what service has been done on the equipment as well. Now, right now, we'll go ahead and go through creating a new work order, but you can see I have additional abilities to generate quotes, notes, and then see all the attachments that are associated with this particular job site. So I'll go ahead and create a new work order. And what's nice about the system is it's reading directly to your service management. So when I create a new work order, it automatically sets it to the next number in line within your Sage Service Management. Since I already have a work site, you can see it already entered in the site for me, but I do have the ability to do that lookup here within the screen as well. And then all my drop downs down here are contingent upon if I have those settings activated within my service management. So this may be a little bit different than how you're currently doing your service management, but just keep in mind it is something that can be set up. Right now, I currently have this set up to myself, but as a dispatcher, I can reassign it to anybody else within that office. So I'll go ahead and put in AC Fix as the description. And you'll notice here that anything with an asterisk is going to be a required field before moving on. I'll go ahead and generate the work order. And now this is writing back into your Sage Service Management database. Once it's been completed and all the workflow has been done, we'll be jumping back into Sage 300 CRE to see what that information looks like from that view. So now we want to kind of switch roles. We want to see from the technician side what they're going to see within their assignments page. And I have actually another tab up here to show that. So we'll flip to that tab. So this is the assignments page. Essentially, this is replacing their time card, that whiteboard or service schedule that they would get in the morning. This is where they're going to see everything that's been assigned to them. Again, it's a browser-based solution, and as we did mention, it does contour to whatever device you're seeing it on. So right now we're seeing it on a laptop, but it's as easy as me to click over here, and we'll see what it looks like on a phone as well. There it is. And the nice thing, again, it contours to the actual device that you're on. Once I'm on the phone, I could simply swipe down and up to be able to view my work assignments. I could actually collapse the days to just look at today's date, or I can actually toggle it to just show today's information. Once I go into one of these work orders, for example, it then gives me a nice button view that you can see here. But I do want to take a little bit more advantage of the screen real estate, so I'm going to switch back to my iPad view. So that way we could take a better look at things. So going back into my assignments, and you'll notice here that I can actually also collapse this bar on the left-hand side here to really just use icons and take advantage of more screen real estate. Now, there was a new work order that was created. We just created that one, and there it is, that Allstate University work order. Now let's start the new work order as if I'm going to go into it and actually start work on it. So we'll click on it. From here, as I mentioned before, we do have a couple ways of tracking your time. So if I wanted to have the ability to do a time start, I could actually select this and do travel start. It says what time my travel starts. Go ahead and update. Once I update, it'll refresh the page, and now you'll see here that my buttons have actually changed. Now going back to the dispatch board really quickly, I want to show what it looks like once an assignment has started for one of my employees. So you'll see here that this work order that was entered is now going to be in the purple stage. So white is an open assignment, purple means they've started their travel time, green means they're active and working, red means suspended if they need to push that work order to the next day, and gray means completed. So right away, the scheduler can see what the status is. Once all the information is completed, it'll show up as gray. So I know immediately what's going on out in the field before actually calling on that tech if needed to. Once I go into the task, I see any notes that have been completed, and I could go on and move over to the next order and schedule out additional work orders as well. So now going back to the technician, we'll go ahead and do some other things and build out this work order. So I could actually put in notes. So once I enter in a note, I have the ability to enter in a customer-facing note, so say AC fix, and then I'll go ahead and show you we have the ability to do canned messages as well. So if there's a standardized way that you want your employees to show that maybe work's been completed, that's an easily click and drag down from the actual drop-down. Additionally, we do have an office note, so if you have want to show that you have availability for overtime and let the office know that, that can all be saved there as well. You can actually include these emails and notes to the dispatcher, just letting them know some additional information right from the job site if need be, but I won't do that for this example. Go ahead and hit submit. And now keep in mind, if you're working from a mobile device, you actually have the ability to do talk to text as well. So now we're going to go ahead and start this with this punch action. Go ahead and update that. And now you'll see my buttons change to either suspend or complete. And now going back into my dispatch board, you'll notice now that the assignment is green, showing that it's been working on. So as I mentioned before, we also have the ability to do flat time. So if you're doing flat time, essentially you just click on your hours here. You would add the labor. Actually putting in the labor time, you could put in cost hours and then billable hours if you want those to be different. Any additional information here, again, not all of these have to be available for your employees. You can set those to however you want to need them to be. We'll go ahead and save that labor. Another thing is that you have the ability to do flat rate billing. So if I want to add a flat rate from here, I actually have the ability to look that information up and then add any additional information here. But in this example, I won't do any flat rate billing. Just know that that's available. Going down through the work order, have the ability to add parts. So adding parts, I could do just a lookup. Carrier. Oh, didn't select that. And that automatically brings in my stock down here. If you leave this blank, it'll automatically bring in from my rate sheet within my Sage 300 CRE system. Select the quantity, adding additional equipment, go ahead and hit save. And now going into my next section is miscellaneous items. So any other items that you want to charge for, popular use for this is actually doing parking fees or permit fees. Quantity of $1, $12, and we'll put this as miscellaneous. Again, actually, you'll see that it actually added a trip charge as well. So if you have additional costs in terms of trip charge over in service management, those will automatically pull once you save your miscellaneous items. Now going down to the bottom here, we have the attachments, and this area where you can add additional documents to help the tech out in the field. So if you wanted to add manuals, plans, user guides, you can add those. Anything that's important for the field that would help out the technician. A common use for this, however, is to actually do a before and after picture to show what work's being done. Now, since I'm on a computer, when I do the add attachment, it's actually allowing me to choose a file. But if this were truly on a tablet or a phone, it would actually have my camera that I can just select from. So we'll go ahead and select a picture. I'll choose that AC unit there. We'll title it AC Start. And then I could add any equipment. We're adding the category as image and go ahead and upload that. And now that's now going to attach within my attachments fields within this Sage Service Operations work order view. And there it is. So my JPEG is there, but what's really nice, we actually have the ability to go into the sketch tool. So if I want to say that I've made any changes to the actual AC unit, I can actually sketch that up. So we'll go ahead and go into that view. Now from here, I just do my title, AC Fix, add any comments. We select the background image that I just uploaded to show the actual AC unit. Maybe I want to show that we removed one of the tubes here. So remove that one. And say that we reinstalled it and put it down below. So just giving some context, and once you go ahead and submit this, you can actually send this back to the office as well. Again, being able to enter in emails to show what work's been done on the job, just so they can capture that. I'll go ahead and save that sketch. Now, when I do so, it's actually saving a separate file. So I'm not overwriting that image file. I'm actually saving that so it's now available within my attachments. So if I go down here in attachments, you'll see I have my original image, plus now a PDF that it generated from there, showing my markup, client information, work order information. So once I've gathered all that information, I have the ability to generate my work order ticket directly from my iPad. That's under reports. We do have a number of other reports if you wanted to do checklists, safety forms, quality control inspections. We do have for authorization for additional work forms right from here where the customer can actually sign on it as well. But we'll go ahead and create the work order ticket. And now this view, you'll see you have the ability to customize kind of what's being shown. So I have my company logo up here. I have the customer information, the description that we entered in, all the assignments, the travel start and end time. I have the ability to track that, the flat time that was entered, miscellaneous fees that were entered in, the parts that we entered, and then any labor that's associated with the job. Scrolling down here, I could provide this information to the customer, actually add, an email for the customer if they want to receive it via email as well. I could add the customer's signature right from the tablet. I could add the technician's signature. And then go ahead and accept the terms and agreements. And this will, again, I have the ability to attach additional content, but create a PDF in my attachments within this work order to then be able to view the final product. So scrolling down into my attachments here, there's that work order ticket. And there's the example of all the information that we captured for that work order. Now let's take a look what we're going to see in the office in my Sage 300 CRE, just to show how that information is compiling in the back office system. Oh, excuse me just a second while I get that up. So you'll see here I have my service management open for all my locations. We'll go ahead and open up the Allstate location. And there's that work order that we just entered in. So, actually I didn't submit that work order, so let me go ahead and do that. Jumping back here. I'll go ahead and put in my assignments, say completed. and update. There it goes. Now the report should show completed, and the work order should show completed as well. So we'll go ahead and jump back into my Sage 300 CRE, and go ahead and refresh this. So now within my service management, I have my site. I have my work order that was just completed now. You'll see here the 14th, today's date. We have the inventory that was used and pulled. We have the costs that were associated with it, all the parts, the labor, the assignments of who was sent out there. Even have the ability to look at payroll. So if I go to my close this out, tasks, edit time entries for today's date, you can see the flat time that was entered here today for that particular job. So now we're really streamlining the process, capturing all the information from the field to the office in real time, and not only cutting back on time, but also the manual entry part of doing this. So once all this information is accumulated, it ends up here in service management, and I can quickly and easily verify all the information in details, send it to payroll, and then run my payroll at the end of the week. And although we've been focusing today's webinar to show the service workflows, Sage Service Operations also has the ability to schedule job times, entering daily field reports, and even tracking times for jobs as well.